Now, what's come up from a number of people, the debate online, and from people who watched his lecture and the question and answer session, is that it was quite unusual for someone who was meant to be speaking to the people, as you just mentioned, to delegate responses, at least majority of his responses, to his surrogates who were present there. Is this a usual or an unusual occurrence? Because for the sake of argument, what he said is that it is in the spirit of, in his words, teamship, or perhaps it's team spirit. Is that normal, or is that showing that he's willing, he's a team player, and he's a man as a leader? Because leadership is not, by one person.
Why all the members of Bishop of Agbado and Cassava Diocese, why all his members are busy defending his poor performance during the interview at Chatham House in London? The journalist that interviewed him, he has finally come at the white journalist. I'm not talking of a black journalist. I'm not talking of Oseni of Arise TV that they hate so much. I'm not talking of Ruben Abati of Arise TV. The white guy that interviewed the bishop of Agbado and Cassava Diocese in Chatham House, London, the man has finally come out to express his displeasure at his poor performance, to express his dissatisfaction at his shameless performance. Oh God, I said it before in my other video. I said whoever emerge as the president of Nigeria, whoever emerge as the president of a country, he or she has automatically become the face of that country. This is a white journalist. I said this thing before that interview took place, that the white journalist has come out to express a question was thrown at him. He delegated the 3 questions to 3 individuals to answer for him. To the extent one of the journalists said, should you become a president, is this how you are going to be delegating questions to people to answer for you? A person that don't have brain to answer questions. He was asked question on insecurity. He delegated it to the short terrorist of Kaduna, Governor El-Rufai, who has not been able, whose state his terrorists has run down his state. Somebody who has not been able to solve the insecurity in the state where thousands has been slaughtered under his watch, he delegated question of insecurity to him. And some of you, you act as if you have a head without a brain. No. To be honest, I see no reason why anybody, any human that have the smallest of sense will be campaigning, and wishing for his candidacy. I see no reason. A person cannot answer a question before a foreign journalist in a foreign land where Nigerians we are braced. We've got Juganos go to the United States of America. The best educated migrants in America, United States of America, they are Nigerians. Are you aware? Nigerians are blessed in all ramifications. We've got intellectuals. We've got Juganos in every sphere of life. And you are pushing for one moron. You want to tell me that we are insulting his personality? No. If you don't want smoke, you stay out of the fire. If Tinubu want to respect his age, if his so-called wife Remi Tinubu, his so-called son Sheyi, if they respect their father enough, they will beg him to save them of this shame. It's a shame. As a Nigeria, it's a shame. That's a presidential candidate coming down. God forbid, may this disaster never happen. God forbid. The fact is, even a candidate contesting for Nigeria presidency alone, I am ashamed. It's a shame. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk too much. Please watch this video. Watch the white man, his interview. What he said about the candidate of APC, that Bishop of Agbado and Cassava House. Please watch the video. All obedience, share this video. Please hit the like button now. Hit the like button in this video, because by so doing you are helping me. You are helping the video to spread far. When you hit the like button, it will help give Facebook and YouTube the opportunity to recommend the video to others. So please do me that favor right now. Hit the like button. Share this video as much as you can. God bless you. Thank you.
Chatham House, and as regards questions and delegations and all of that. John?
Hey, good morning, guys. Great to be on the show. You didn't put my question in. I asked him, this question was, we had 2 terms of the Buhari administration, of which he's been a key part. And I asked him, given all Nigeria's problems with theft of oil, inflation, what makes him a good candidate to be president, given that he's been involved in the current administration for the last 2 terms. And basically he rolled back and said, well, I wasn't the president, Buhari was. It was an extraordinary gathering at Chatham House. Chatham House, if viewers don't know, is the holy of think tanks, if you like. And it was once the home of Gladstone and Pitt, British prime ministers. World leaders have spoken there: Mandela, Reagan, Thatcher, Kenneth Kaunda, Gandhi, Ben Gurion. And yesterday we had Bola Tinubu holding court. It was all very theatrical. Now, normally at these Chatham House events, the room is a very staid affair, very solemn. You have academics, lawyers, some journalists asking the leader in question, for example, Hillary Clinton, a few softball questions, and things go fairly smoothly. But this time, Chatham House was absolutely rammed solid with Tinubu supporters who sort of cheered his every applause line. It was most extraordinary. Meanwhile, outside, there were lots of supporters. The police had to be called at one point because things got out of hand as far as the boisterousness went on, but things soon calmed down. So in many ways, it was extraordinary, not least by the fact that you noticed from that clip that you just played that questions were asked from the audience, but he didn't reply to many of them. He got proxies in the audience, potential members of his new cabinet if he wins the election, to give the answer. So many ways, it was an extraordinary event yesterday.
All right. Now, what's come up from a number of people, the debate online, and from people who watched his lecture and the question and answer session, is that it was quite unusual for someone who was meant to be speaking to the people, as you just mentioned, to delegate responses, at least majority of his responses, to his surrogates who were present there. Is this a usual or an unusual occurrence? Because for the sake of argument, what he said is that it is in the spirit of, in his words, teamship, or perhaps it's team spirit. Is that normal, or is that showing that he's willing, he's a team player, and he's a man as a leader, because leadership is not, by one person, that he's able and willing to delegate to others? Is that normal?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is he's scared of putting his foot in it and giving the wrong answer that might come and bite him on the bum later, so he can blame someone else for saying the wrong thing. I've never seen it. It wasn't a press conference. It was a Chatham House event to which the press were invited, as well as his supporters. And I've never seen that before. There were some other serious points that I did pick up at the event that haven't really been mentioned so far. Worth running through some of the points that he made quite well. And that was that he believed in, he wanted to see no violence at the election, which brought a lot of applause. He said that he saw Nigeria as a beacon of hope to other nations. He discussed many aspects of the environment. He said that gas was the future. He agreed with the findings of the COP conference. He believed in the African Union. He said that he wanted to increase the Nigerian economy by 7%. So in all the sort of the theatrics and the back and forth, there were some serious points being made by this man, but overall, one did get the impression that he didn't want to answer a lot of questions.
Okay, John, two quick things. The first one, of what value is Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, coming to talk at Chatham House? We all know that Chatham House is a very prestigious platform,
Yeah.
but the voters are not in London. He's not seeking to be the Prime Minister of London, as somebody referred to him. He wants to be President of Nigeria. So what is the value of that engagement, considering that Nigeria does not even have diaspora voting? That's one. The second one is that, we were told that there was some drama outside the premises of Chatham House with his supporters and those who are opposed to him, staging their own melodrama outside the Chatham House. Did you take a look at that, and what's your take in that regard? Those two issues.
You make a great point. There are about 100,000 Nigerians in the UK at any one time. And so, as I understand it, they can't vote in the Nigerian presidential election unless they go to Nigeria and vote. There's no proxy voting from the UK, nor can they, as I understand it, directly fund his campaign. So why did he come to London? The opposition will say that he came up for one reason, was a health check. He was questioned about his health, and apparently he's in the best of health. So why did he come to Chatham House? Why doesn't he do these major speeches in Nigeria, is your question. And I think we've got the answer, because the coverage that he got has been quite incredible, especially on social media. I mean, he was given a platform effectively on the world stage rather than to a domestic audience, and here we are talking about his speech in London. So I think we're probably answering our own question here. Why did he come to London? Because he's got a lot of publicity, not only back home in Nigeria, but also in the UK, not through mainstream media here particularly, but on social media. So I think that's the answer. He goes on to the United States. We don't know who he's meeting there, and then he goes to Paris as well in the next few days, where I understand he has some business interests. So we'll hear a lot more from Mr. Tinubu in the coming days.
Yeah, but what about the crowd outside? The melodramatic, display outside the Chatham House.
There were some rumours that it was rent-a-crowd. They were paid to be there. I can't prove that either way. I mean, people there came from all over the country. I interviewed on air on Arise yesterday afternoon a guy, one of the organisers from Scotland, for example, which is a 300-mile journey from London. They did come from all over the country. I did, out of the corner of my eye, notice some opposition supporters with a placard saying "No to drug dealer," which is a reference to an investigation many years ago into Tinubu's activities in Chicago, all of which have always been denied. So there were a sprinkling, I saw out of the corner of my eye, of opposition supporters, but the vast majority of them were there on the surface to cheer for Tinubu.
All right. Thank you,